Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The WBC, it says Cuban heavyweight contender Luis Ortiz has failed a drug test, just weeks out from his showdown with WBC champion Deontay Wilder. WBC President Mauricio Suleiman has confirmed on social media, see on screen, that WADA has informed it that as part of the WBC Clean Boxing program, the 38-year-old Cuban southpaw has tested positive for a banned substance. Some details have emerged on social media from Team Ortiz that it is down to a blood pressure medication and that there's nothing to see here. So no doubt more to come on this from both sides. But on the surface, no doubt a disappointment to some boxing fans who have eagerly been awaiting the November 4th clash between Ortiz and Wilder. And this is not the first time Ortiz has failed a drug test, testing positive for nandrolone in 2014 after a fight against Latif Kiyodi, and for that transgression he served a 9-month ban. Two previous fighters have tested positive for PEDs ahead of a fight with Deontay Wilder, with other instances occurring with Alexander Povetkin 18 months ago and Andrzej Wawrzyk at the start of this year. What this means for the fight is actually anyone's guess at this point, but I would note that the next highest available opponent in the WBC rankings is Dillian Whyte. He is currently without a fight, but it's unlikely his actual mandatory challenger Bermane Stiverne would be pressed into action here versus Wilder if it came to that, as Stiverne has already been paid to step aside and is set to face Dominic Breazeale on the same November 4th card. Plus, Wilder has actually spoken of never wanting to face Stiverne again after comprehensively beating him in 2015. IBF challenger Kubrat Pulev says if he wins against Anthony Joshua on October 28th in Cardiff, he will donate half his purse to charity. Pulev made the statement on Facebook saying it would go to orphanages, hospitals for life-saving equipment, and other charities. He ended by saying, "Let's make them happy." Given Pulev will be due a few million at least from this fight, it is quite a gesture, but I guess the only problem here is he actually has to beat the unified WBA and IBF champ Anthony Joshua, which itself is no easy feat. Meanwhile, WBO champion Joseph Parker and his trainer Kevin Barry have been speaking about a future fight with Anthony Joshua since Parker beat Hughie Fury to retain his title. Barry and Parker have told New Zealand media that a Joshua fight will happen down the road and that they think Parker can expose Joshua's weaknesses. But that fight appears to be at least a year away, with Joshua seemingly booked up for at least the next 6 months, and Team Parker looking at their options for at least one voluntary defence. And it could be more, you never know, and then obviously they would have a mandatory at some point. Apart from the UK, Parker's promoters have signalled Japan and the USA as potential fight destinations for Parker for his next defence of his belt. Undefeated US heavyweight contender Jarrell Miller is set to face a top Polish contender in November in what promises to be more than a stay-busy fight. The 18-0 Miller will look to reinforce his standing as one of the top heavyweights around in the division by taking on 6'7" Mariusz Wach, who was 33-2. So Wach, whose two losses have come against Alexander Povetkin and Vladimir Klitschko, has never been dropped. So this will be a good test for Miller in many respects, in particular his stamina. For me, this is a major heat check for Miller. And finally, David Haye. He has told a press conference that Ian Lewison has been given the best possible chance against his fighter Joe Joyce, with a pair meeting on October 20th in what is Joyce's debut fight.
But I wanted to make sure that you was in shape. I've got respect for you as a fighter, as a human being, and I want to make sure that when the fight happens, you're in great shape, Joe's in great shape, and we have a fair fight.
But you know what, on that sense, in the sense of like the time given, I can't fault him on that. He gave me adequate notice. Everything in that sense was done rightly, and I'll have to shake hand for that on David, because like he stated already, it's always been a case of late notice fights, and I've been given adequate notice. Therefore, getting into this one, there's going to be no excuses. But one excuse I can promise you will never hear from me is I overtrained.
Should be a good fight. That's it from me. Hit like, subscribe, drop a comment. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.